Hello guys, welcome to today's edition. We're going to be making use of Python and we're going to be solving this problem, multiplication table problem on Codewars. All right, so what are we doing? We're going to be creating a multiplication table. We're going to be creating a multiplication table and we're going to be doing it this way. So they're going to input a size that they want. So if they want three multiplication table, that means we're going to do a 3 by 3 multiplication table, in the sense that we're going to have the 1 times 1, 1 times 2, 1 times 3 here, 2 and then 3, right? So that means we're going to be dealing with tables. And when we're dealing with tables, we know that we're going to be doing what we call we're going to be doing with nested for loops. Okay, we're going to be doing nested for loops because we're going to have a particular value. We hold that particular value, populate it, then we move to the next value. So we're going to be doing in Python. In programming languages, you have, when you use nested for loops, you're going to be able to create, we're going to, first of all, we're going to create 1, 2, 3, then we create 2, 4, 6, then we create 3, 6, 9. That means for each of them, we need a particular list that is going to contain this value. Then we're going to then multiply it by the particular index of the outer loop, right? That's how we're going to actually manipulate this and make it work. That should be the solution to this particular problem. So let's begin. So first of all, we can actually use two ways to resolve this. We can actually do it through list comprehension, which is the quicker way, or would I say the easier way to do that, or we can actually use nested for loops. So for people that don't understand how list comprehension works, this could be an opportunity for you to learn how it works. So the first idea that we're going to make use of is the for loop. So let's make use of the for loop. Let us go. So first of all, we're going to define the table, or I'm going to call it outer loop. Okay, let's just define it as the table. I think it might be easier to understand that way. So first thing, we're going to define it as a table, which means this is the thing that holds the final value. All right, then we're going to go down and then we're going to say for, we use ij for inner and outer. So what we're going to call it is, let's just call it for column in range, say size. Okay, because this is a column, this is what would define this. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3 normally as the row. Then you're going to get the column, which is like this. So we're going to say, okay, for this particular column, we want to create a row, and this row is going to be empty at first, right? So for this one, we want to create a new row, and it will be empty at first. So now we're going to go to the for row value in range of that same size, because we are dealing with a n by n, which means for 4 by 4. If it was n by m, that is n by m. All right. We're going to have size here, then size plus 1 or something, or size plus whatever value that whatever value difference. So if it is 2 by 3, we know size plus 1. If it's 2 by 4, then we know size plus 2. All right. It doesn't even matter. Just know that, okay, if it's 2 by 4, we know that it's going to be 2 difference in the height and the width. So right now in this particular one, we're going to do something like this. So we already know that to append an item to a list, you're going to use, to add an item to a list, you're going to use the append. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to make use of this, and we're going to say, okay, for this we're going to row dot append. Then we're going to do I the column plus 1. That is the column value, right? Let's call this column value. think it's going to make it easier. Column value. So we're going to do the column value plus 1 multiplied by row value plus 1. Okay, so what this does is that for when it's in this loop, this row value would always be this. Okay, to always be this, right? And what was it? Yeah, so it's going to always be this value, which is if it was 0 here, it's going to be 1 here multiplied by the particular row value currently. So it can be, this will be the value that will be changing, and this one will be the one that is going to remain same way. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to have final, we're going to have table dot append. We would now append the row. So then we would return table. I think this should be it. So let's run it and see what the results are. So you see, we've actually passed all the tests correctly. That means whatever value is passed here is going to be printed correctly. So let's go with list comprehension to show you the difference and how easy list comprehensions can make it to be. So let's make it multiplication table size, but this is going to be list comprehension. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just comment this out. And then first thing with list comprehension is that you're going to have a variable to hold the value. In this case, it's going to be a table. It's holding a list of values. The first thing that you're going to do is to write the for loop. So we're going to write for column value in range size, and then you're going to write the expression before that one. So because we want to create a list within a list, we're going to have a list here. Okay, and then we're going to use a list comprehension because it's a nested loop. So we're going to use a list comprehension inside of a list comprehension. So we're going to say, okay, for row value in range size. All right, so we know that this is what we're working with. For that particular one, what do we want to do with it? You know, in this one, we just want to the way list comprehensions work is that you have the for loop and then you have the expression. Okay, you can have filters by the end. So okay, let me just write something down. Um, so what list comprehensions have this following syntax. We have um, the braces, okay, the braces for the list that you want to create. What list comprehensions does is that they create a new list based on what you give as conditions and based on the expressions you impute, right? So we have this. So we're going to create a new list. So how do we want to create a list? We have a particular list already, and then we say, okay, for range or for value in range of that particular size or the particular range that we're looking for. Then by the left we have the expressions, or by left we have the expression or return value, and then return value. Then by the right we have the filters. Okay, so that is how it works. So we know that this is not an expression at this point. At this particular point, this is the return value. So this is what we want to return at the end of an iteration. We want to return a list, right? At the end of the iteration, we want to return a particular list inside of this bigger list. So we want to return this. So this, at this point, this is a return value. But for this inner one, we're going to be making some operations inside. So we're going to create this. We're going to create that multiplication logic is going to be the expression that we're going to deal with. So we're going to have that, we're going to have the column value plus 1, right? Multiplied by row value plus 1. So what I advise is that at this point, if you're just starting out, it would be good for you to go with this particular one in your interviews or whatever. It's good for you to go with this particular one if you don't understand how these comprehensions work. Um, but that's just it. So thank you. Let's run it and see. Oh, I didn't return. I did not return the value. Sorry about that. So I'm going to return table. All right, so return table. We're going to test it. So you see, so it's either you use list comprehension for such questions or you use nested for loops, right? Thank you very much. That's for that for today. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share this video to people who are interested to solve interview questions and all the rest. Thank you very much. I'm King Graham. See you in the next one. So we're going to just submit a solution. Well, we can just submit this because it's more, it looks better, it looks short, it looks efficient. So we're just going to submit this. So let me just delete this one and then submit this. So yeah, better, we have a new updated one, right? So up next, we're going to solve another problem, random problem from whatever kata that we want. Right. Thank you very much. See ya.